Hey guys, what's going on? It's Verbal, and today I've got a kind of an interesting topic of conversation. I want to talk to you guys about Occupy Wall Street and my thoughts on Occupy Wall Street. So, I've been chatting, with friends, with work people, anyone who'll listen, basically, because a lot of people are interested specifically in what I have to say, and I'll explain why. The reason I thought you guys might be interested in it is because I see a lot of people talking about it in our community, and to be honest, a lot of young people are interested in what the hell is going on, and maybe the thoughts, and this is the reason why they're interested in why I have to say it, is because I live on Wall Street. Like, my home address is a number, Wall Street, Manhattan, 10005. That's my zip code, that's where I live. So I'm right in the middle of this shit, daily basis. Now, one of the things I saw that Hutch tweeted out today, Tuesday, that he found this interesting and it's good, and I forget, regardless of what his personal opinions about whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, he liked that they were protesting and they had the ability to protest, and it was good to see that. And I called him out on it, but of course, who the hell am I to Hutch? I'm sure he gets 30,000 tweets every single time he says something, but I disagree. I disagree 100%. So I needed to, I wanted to take the time and explain to you guys what I think about Occupy Wall Street and how I feel about it, and why I'm actually not supportive of them. Not supportive of them at all, in fact. So I'm going to contradict myself straight away. I'm going to explain, it's not just that I'm not supportive. I'm actually very supportive of the two main concepts that they, bring to the table, and they're irritated and annoyed about it. There's a lot of this media bullshit going on. They're not, clear, concise, and they don't really have a mission statement. They kind of started off that way. There is maybe, 98% of people down there in Zuccotti Park and around the Fed and around our area that kind of just antagonize and talk shit and don't really have anything to say. The 2% of people, the guys that are really coherent, you've probably all seen on YouTube at this point, really have two, at least what I've seen, is two very, very good arguments that I 100% agree with and I can 100% get behind. And the first one, obviously, is the whole concept of privatized gains and socialized losses by our banking institutions. So JP Morgan Chase, when they come out, end of Q3, and they say, hey, we, earned $70 billion and this quarter, so we're doing great, and we're going to give our execs, $20 billion or $20 million bonus this quarter because they did so great. So they get $20 million for 3 months of work. Well done. So that's great. You did well as a company, and you're rewarding the people that work for you. I see nothing wrong with that. What I see wrong with is when they privatize the losses. So a few years ago, when basically the subprime mortgage fiasco went to shit, and we were all buying houses we just couldn't afford, basically. We had to bail them out. The U.S. government, we bailed out these banks and said, oh, that $600 billion that you need to stay afloat. We'll pay you that. We'll give you that money so you can keep going. I think that's retarded. And then the other thing is the whole concept of money in politics, where I'm allowed to give a politician a certain amount of money and say, here's a donation to your campaign. Go out and do well. And obviously, what that breeds is, in its most simplistic form, it becomes, say the big auto manufacturers say, lobby on behalf of us to keep us in business and keep, gas prices low and all the rest of it, so that we can stay in business, and we'll pay you $10 million to get yourself elected president, and then you pass bills that help us out. That's corruption. Plain and simple, and it doesn't happen that simply, but the concept is, if you have money in politics, there's no way for it to go other than corruption. So we've got to get the money out of politics. And those are two very good, messages that this Occupy Wall Street and now Occupy every city around the country, or around the globe, really, have gotten. I totally agree with. And what I disagree with is the way in which they're going about it. So there's a lot of, bullshit. It's, for instance, there's a community board here. Like, there's a community board, or, a board of people that care about, your county or your village or whatever else, anywhere that people live around the planet. I've seen it in England, I've seen it in France, I've seen it in Spain, I've seen it here, like, I've seen it everywhere. Argentina has the same kind of concept in their barrios. And basically what it comes down to is, the first few weeks, we were talking to them. Like, our financial district community was talking to them the very first time, said, hey, we want to have a dialogue with you because we support what you're doing. We want to make sure it's legal, and we want to make sure you're not, making it hard for the people who live down here to live and go to work, and you go to Starbucks and get a, I don't know, sandwich from Subway, for fuck's sake. And they do. They make it very, very difficult. It's hard to get into my office. It's hard to get into my building. It's hard to get out to get a sandwich. The police have to erect cordoned off areas to try and control, and it's literally thousands of people at this point. And a lot of my friends turn to me like, you know, no offense, but screw you. Like, why would we care that you're having a tough time and you're being put out a little bit while we're changing the world? Like, get with a fucking program. And I'm like, look, fair enough, I get that, I understand that. And, you know, suck it up a little bit. There's the drums at 3 o'clock in the morning are pretty fucking annoying for an entire month straight. Having said that, I get where he's coming from and my friends are coming from, and fair enough. What I don't like, and here's the major problem with what you're seeing, is that 98% of the people out there are just, I mean, they're incoherent, they don't really have anything really value to say, they're just out there and doing something for no reason. My dad caught a video on one of the news sources saying that, you know, some guy had left his job to come down and complain about the lack of jobs in the U.S. economy. What? Think about that for a second. Here's one of the biggest problems I have. And I saw it the other day when I was going for lunch. I walked by the Federal Reserve in Manhattan. I walk by and there's this guy and he's yelling and he's shouting obscenities, which he's allowed to do, constitutional right. He's allowed to, you know, have his voice and his opinion heard. He was really giving some shit to our federal cops, and it kind of made me sad that you wouldn't at least have a little bit of respect for, you know, a person that's there to keep the peace. And that saddened me, to be honest. And what you guys don't see is those YouTube videos that you see. It's not one guy videotaping. It's like 5 or 6 guys. They're there trying to antagonize people, trying to get someone to actually make something that they can put on YouTube and make videos and get views on it. That's really, really sad. They've got a really good message, and they should go out with that message. They shouldn't be sitting there trying to antagonize people and making it hard for us to live here, and that's unfortunately what they're doing. So, am I behind them? Yes. The way that they do it? No. Let me know what you think. Post up in the comments below.
Oh, cool.